Well, good day viewers. Today we have a 2015 Honda CR-V with a 2.4 and a Warren timing chain. Imagine that. This is my third one I'm doing. I've got the timing marks lined up there between the two camshafts. It's hard to tell. Look at how much stretch this chain is. I can put my finger just barely get my pointing finger in there. Timing mark lined up. The tensioner extended completely. As you can see, it's extended almost all the way out to the end of its travel. Setting a P0341. Another shop changed the cam sensor, I believe. That didn't fix it, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and put new chain, guides, phaser, sprockets, tensioner, and then put the cover back on and reseal it. So there's the two cam sprockets replaced. The front bolt on here, you're supposed to replace the bolt, is 54 foot-pounds on the exhaust cam, 85 foot-pounds on the intake cam, and you can use a 15/16 wrench in this hex at the back here. Through the back here, it's a little bit of a challenge, and a 15/16 wrench on the exhaust cam right here. Now, I've got the marks lined up, but this intake camshaft is under tension, so I've got a pair of vice grips holding the camshaft gently against the rocker arm shaft underneath, and that should have the timing marks lined up. So we're ready to put the chain and guides on. So there's a colored link on the bottom of the crank, and it goes to that dot. But you have to put a paint dot on the pulley, or on the crank gear, because you can't see the dot once the chain is in place. And there's colored links on the camshaft sprockets up top, 2 on the intake and 1 on the exhaust. So there's the chain tensioner installed. These little 6mm bolts are 9 foot-pounds. Once it's installed, you can pull the pin. You can see I got the colored link lined up with the white paint dot, and we'll look at the links on top. Once you pull that pin, it tensions it. I can take the vice grips off my camshaft up top, so you can see the timing mark on the cam sprocket, 2 colored links on either side of the timing mark, and the single colored link in the center on the exhaust sprocket. Now if we look at how much clearance is in between here. Remember before I could barely get my finger in there. Now there's like twice as much space here. That chain was pretty loose for 135,000 kilometers. That's pretty bad, Honda. Well, we can finish wiping down the mating surfaces with brake cleans and clean the timing cover, change the timing cover seal, and then reseal this thing. So here's the service instructions to install the harmonic balancer. It says if the bolt is new, the balancer bolt is new, which it's not. If it's new, tighten it to 133 foot-pounds, remove the bolt, and then tighten it to 37 foot-pounds. If it's the original bolt, just tighten it to 37 foot-pounds, and then turn the bolt an additional 90 degrees. So I'll show you my setup. So here's my homemade holding fixture. And I've tightened the bolt to 37 foot-pounds, and I marked it with white paint dot, and 90 degrees is a quarter turn. So I'm going to turn this until this paint dot is over here, and this wrench goes up against the tie rod end. So there you can see I've turned it 90 degrees. This holding fixture works pretty good. It's a hydraulic fitting welded onto a 1.5-inch wrench that I found on the side of the highway one day, and I've been using it for years. I find it better than the factory tool. Anyways, the timing cover is installed, resealed, new crank seal in there, and we're going to drain the oil out of it in case there's anything that got in the bottom of the pan. Going to change the oil and filter as well. I found if you put a block of wood underneath the CV shaft here, it's just a 1.5-inch block of wood, it holds the engine up from that front mount. So I'm going to install the motor mount I'm actually going to put timing or serpentine belt on and then the motor mount. There's the front motor mount installed. Should be able to pull that block of wood out of there now. Yeah. And we're going to clean the valve cover. I noticed a problem here though. There's a gasket on this valve cover that's broken. That's for the PCV. I do have a new one, but I wonder how that got broken like that. Pretty hard too. I got a new valve cover gasket. Got to clean this up, reseal it, cleaned the head already. So there it is, back together and running again. I put a set of fresh spark plugs in it. With a fresh oil change, reset the oil life monitor. I do see another concern here. It's minor, but see that boot is split. When the engine rocks, it opens that split. So that's going to cause a little bit of a stumble or hesitation. I'm not sure if this one's available from the aftermarket yet. I'm going to look it up. I did order one the other day for another Honda CR-V, so I wonder if I've already got one.